Most people live their days in invisible emotional slavery, entirely submitting to fear, anger, and the slightest external irritants. One wrongly spoken word can destroy their internal equilibrium, and any failure instantly knocks the ground from under their feet. However, there exists another path that draws a clear line between those who control situations and those who become victims of circumstances. A path that transforms the mind into a flawless, unshakable mechanism. 5 centuries ago, this truth was grasped and formulated by Niccolò Machiavelli. While his contemporaries composed beautiful tales about morality and honor, he coldly studied human nature without embellishment, observing the rise and fall of empires. He identified patterns of survival and recorded harsh truths that many preferred to ignore. But it's precisely this knowledge that can forever change your view of how the world works. Before we delve into the essence, fix a simple mindset in your consciousness. I am in complete control of my emotions. Principle 1. Never reveal your true face, because the moment others understand your thoughts, you become vulnerable. Many mistakenly believe that absolute sincerity and open demonstration of feelings make them authentic, but in reality, this only turns them into easy targets. Imagine life as a high-stakes poker game. The worst player at the table is the one whose emotions are readable at first glance, revealing both elation from a good hand and disappointment from a loss. In real life, your predictability becomes a weapon against yourself. If you openly demonstrate anger, manipulators understand which points to press. If you show fear, they know where to apply force, and your desires are used as bait for control. History knows many examples of rulers who wore their emotions on display and instantly reacted to provocations, inevitably yielding to those who could maintain ice-cold calm and hide their intentions. Remember the deep thought of the Florentine thinker. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. People judge you not by your character or intentions, but exclusively by what you allow them to see. Therefore, there's no sense in exposing your weaknesses and pain points. The mask of impassivity isn't hypocrisy, but strategic intelligence based on understanding that emotions are valuable information that shouldn't be given away for free. Look at those who achieve significant success. They may seem invulnerable, but this doesn't mean they're devoid of feelings like robots. Their strength lies in the ability to create distance between what they feel inside and what they broadcast to the world. Whether unexpected triumph or sudden problem, their face remains impenetrable, while their mind coldly calculates the next move or evaluates whether the provocation is worth the energy spent. Start practicing this approach today. Don't broadcast your excitement, and don't show anger when someone tries to throw you off balance. Become a mystery to others, an unpredictable figure impossible to fully calculate. Because the moment people lose the ability to read your reactions, they lose the ability to control you. Principle 2. Learn to see people as they are, not as you want them to be. Your main mistake is projecting your own virtues onto others. Being loyal and honest, you expect the same from others by default, which inevitably leads to disappointment. Machiavelli had no illusions, understanding that humans are driven primarily by self-interest, not constancy and immediate benefit. This statement doesn't mean everyone around is a villain. Human nature is simply complex and full of contradictions. People can show loyalty as long as it costs them nothing, and be honest exactly until lying becomes a more convenient way out. Acknowledging this fact isn't cynicism, but a sober view of reality that saves us from blind faith, making us vulnerable to betrayal. Stop listening to what people say and start carefully observing what they do, because beautiful words mean nothing. A person's true essence is revealed not in comfortable conditions, but in moments when support requires sacrifice or when fulfilling a promise becomes inconvenient. Ask yourself an honest question. Who from your circle stayed close and kept their word when you were deprived of resources and could offer nothing in return? As soon as the fog of illusions dissipates, you have the opportunity to competently redistribute your resources, investing energy only in the few who are truly reliable, instead of dispersing yourself maintaining one-way games. This has nothing to do with paranoia or cruelty, it's pure pragmatism and a sober view that requires evaluating others dynamically. You begin noticing inconsistencies between words and deeds, carefully observing people's behavior precisely in moments they think it doesn't matter and no one is watching. Remember a simple axiom: those who speak ill of others in your presence will inevitably discuss you behind your back. And people accustomed to using others for momentary gain will sooner or later do the same to you. Those who are nearby only in moments of triumph will evaporate at the first signs of a real storm. Therefore, stop making excuses for repeating scenarios and giving endless second chances to those who've already repeatedly demonstrated their essence. The strongest move is refusing the fantasy of who you want people to be and accepting them as they truly are, clearly dividing your environment into those worthy of trust and those who should be kept at a distance. Principle 3. Completely suppress impulsive reactions, because often it's the instant emotional outburst that makes situations 10 times worse. Emotions work faster than intellect. This is an ancient defense mechanism that in the modern world turned into a vulnerability. A flash of anger or resentment make us commit actions we regret within a minute. Machiavelli repeatedly described how even outstanding individuals destroyed themselves by succumbing to provocations and engaging in conflicts instead of maintaining composure, reacting too quickly and losing big. The solution to this problem is elementary but requires iron discipline. Never make fateful decisions in moments of emotional intensity. Your first reaction is almost always wrong because it's dictated by distorted threat perception, not the actual state of affairs. Therefore, any trigger should become a signal to pause, whether an hour or an entire day. Machiavelli noted that a wise person does immediately what a fool arrives at only at the very end, having made a mass of mistakes. The difference is only that demoliticians reflexively react, while masters act consciously, waiting for a moment of complete clarity. When you deliberately delay response, the situation transforms. The veil of rage subsides and you begin noticing details missed in the rush of anger, understanding the opponent's real motives and the real balance of power. Perhaps you were simply being provoked, or the person was projecting their own problems onto you, and realizing this allows you to shift from deep defense to surgical precision action. Instead of hysteria, you can choose ice-cold silence or a calm, measured response that will disarm the opponent far more effectively than any screaming. This is what real control looks like. Introduce an unbreakable rule for yourself. Any decision colored by strong emotions must pass the test of time, at least through one sleep cycle. Emotions are merely a signaling system, useful for attracting attention, but worthless as an advisor. Therefore, learn to experience them internally, but act selectively and coldly. Principle 4. Luck is always on the side of the prepared, and the absence of a backup plan is the shortest path to complete collapse. Life doesn't respect strategies built on a single scenario, because reality is inherently chaotic and changeable. What worked flawlessly yesterday may become absolutely useless today, and those who bet everything on one card find themselves defenseless in the face of sudden changes. History knows many examples of people confident in their invincibility and stability who lost everything due to one unexpected event, simply because they had no room to maneuver. The real masters of survival are not those who had a perfect initial plan, but those who thought through alternative routes and several backup exits in case of failure. Determination alone is insufficient if not backed by thorough preparation and the branched safety net system. Your strength and invulnerability lie in the ability to instantly rebuild and change tactics the moment the first option stops working, turning any arising difficulty into a solvable problem. Let's approach the question with extreme practicality. Imagine tomorrow your main income source simply disappears. Do you have skills you can immediately apply in another field, savings, or reliable connections, or will you find yourself in an absolute dead end? The same applies to personal relationships. If the person you've grown accustomed to relying on suddenly disappears from your life, will you have enough internal autonomy and emotional stability to stay on your feet, or will it destroy you to the foundation? The essence of this philosophy lies in systematically eliminating vulnerability that inevitably arises from dependence. When you rely entirely on one thing, that factor begins controlling you, effectively owning your fate, and its loss becomes fatal. However, having choice grants genuine power. You can't be cornered, trapped, or blackmailed because you always have a backup exit, whether finances, resources, or social circle. Our goal isn't to descend into paranoia, but to achieve a state of unshakability where no event can knock the ground from under your feet because you've built multiple supports in advance. Ask yourself right now, what in my life do I depend on excessively and whose absence would be catastrophic for me? If you don't have a backup plan for this case, start developing it immediately while you have stability, not when crisis has already arrived and it's too late. Use calm time for preparation. Save funds to avoid depending on financial pressure. Master new competencies to avoid becoming hostage to narrow specialization, and strengthen connections to avoid isolation. This is what Machiavelli called adaptability, the ability to respond to any blows of fate thanks to pre-prepared scenarios. The future is inherently uncertain, plans crumble, and force majeure happens. But if you're ready to switch to plan B or C, you simply continue moving forward, remaining invulnerable. Principle 5. Strength respects only strength, so never enter negotiations from a position of weakness. The truth many are uncomfortable acknowledging is that respect isn't earned through kindness, but by having options, the ability to say no, readiness to walk away, and absence of acute need for what the opponent offers. As soon as you begin needing someone more than they need you, you lose, because people instantly read desperation and, consciously or not, use it against you. This law works everywhere. When you crave approval, it's denied. When you beg for attention, you're ignored. But once you gain self-sufficiency, you become a magnet for others. Machiavelli, deeply understanding human nature, noted that since love and fear rarely coexist, it's safer to inspire fear than love. In modern context, this means respect based on your professionalism and influence is much more durable than sympathy, which disappears at the first inconvenience. To gain such power over circumstances, you must first cultivate independence, stop seeking confirmation of your significance from outside, and learn to be a whole person alone. Simultaneously, increase your options. When you have several development paths or potential partners, no one can dictate terms using your lack of alternatives as a pressure lever. It's also critically important to develop rare and valuable skills, so others need you more than you need them, and firmly delineate personal boundaries. Stop being convenient for everyone, stop agreeing for less, and be ready to cut off those who don't value your time and energy, because people without boundaries provoke dismissive attitudes toward themselves. Start building your base of influence today by refusing the role of supplicant and transitioning to the status of a person whose very presence commands respect. Principle 6. Remember the time factor. Indecision kills more dreams than direct failures. Many people see opportunities but freeze in endless analysis and waiting for perfect conditions until the chance goes to another. Machiavelli was obsessed with timeliness, perfectly understanding that the same action performed at different times can lead either to triumph or collapse. Therefore, learn to act decisively when the moment demands it. While others hesitated in indecision, there was someone who took the step, a bolder player who realized that windows of opportunity don't remain open forever. Machiavelli very accurately described the nature of human ambition. First, people strive only to protect themselves from threats, but having strengthened their positions, they inevitably go on the offensive. Success has its own rhythm, and there are moments when all factors come together. The path becomes clear and doors open. However, you must understand that such periods are fleeting. You're obliged to recognize this moment and act immediately.
Here is where rigid emotional control is critically important. Your feelings will try to sabotage you, flooding your mind with doubts, fear of failure, and fear of others' opinions. Your strategic mind must suppress these impulses because it knows perfect conditions don't exist, and waiting for complete certainty equals endless waiting by the sea for weather. The price of inaction is always higher than the risk of error. If you analyze stories of major victories, you'll see a common feature. Someone noticed a breach in defense or a free niche and occupied it before others. These people didn't have guarantees or ready answers. They only had a brief moment of chance, and they used it. This isn't recklessness, but animal instinct multiplied by courage. The essence of correct timing isn't artificially creating a situation, but the ability to prepare yourself to react instantly when luck knocks on your door. Often opportunities come in the mask of problems, challenges, or instability, and while most people panic and retreat, waiting for dust to settle and clarity to arrive, you must move forward. It's precisely in chaos and uncertainty, when competitors freeze in stupor, that the biggest prospects hide. Having noticed an opening breach, analyze lightning fast. Don't spend weeks on assessing. Set yourself a rigid deadline and make a decision. Don't wait for absolute confidence to come to you or someone give a permission. Don't wait for favorable star alignment, because tomorrow the window might slam shut. Hesitation is the main enemy of achievement, so fix a simple mindset in your consciousness. I act with surgical precision. Principle 7. The end justifies the means. This phrase is often misinterpreted, believing it gives carte blanche for unscrupulousness and cruelty. But the true meaning is different. You need to shift focus from craving approval to the effectiveness of your actions. Stop worrying about what people will think of your methods and start evaluating whether they actually work. The reality is you'll be judged either way. Achieve success, they'll criticize your path to it. Lose, they'll mock your failure. This game of universal approval is impossible to win because the rules are initially set against you. So it's better to simply exit this game. Success never rewards the timid and those who try to please everyone. Real changes aren't made by those who ask permission and meticulously follow rules. Breakthroughs are made by people who see necessity and act, even if it's difficult, unpopular, and causes crowd condemnation. Recall any outstanding figure. Contemporaries called them madmen, upstarts, or too aggressive, but they moved forward, understanding a fundamental truth. Ultimately, history judges you not by how nice and convenient your methods were, but exclusively by what you managed to achieve. Of course, this isn't a call to immorality or senseless cruelty. This is a call to stop letting fear of criticism paralyze your will. Your path won't resemble the beaten roads of the majority, and your approaches might cause discomfort to others, and that's normal. Moreover, it's a sure sign you're doing something significant. Comfortable and safe routes don't lead to great discoveries. Therefore, stop seeking confirmation of your rightness from those who don't even try to go beyond the ordinary. Focus on impact, on real results, and cement another principle in your thoughts. I am defined by my results. Machiavelli understood what most miss. Winners are forgiven everything. History is rewritten, and their strategies are called genius, whereas noble failures who played by all the rules are instantly forgotten. Society teaches us from childhood to be open, trusting, and obedient, but this advice is only good for those who want to dissolve into the gray mass and live life without creating waves. You, however, seek real power and control, and this requires new thinking. Machiavelli's treatises aren't a guide to popularity, but instructions for survival in a harsh competitive environment that, let's be honest, hasn't changed a bit over the centuries. The world remains merciless to those who haven't grasped its true mechanisms. However, now you have all the necessary tools in your arsenal. You've realized the hidden rules of this big game, and the only thing left is to competently and cold-bloodedly apply the acquired knowledge in practice. Before we part, share in the comments which of the 7 lessons found the greatest resonance in your soul, and what exactly you intend to implement in your daily life today. If this material was valuable to you, support it so others can discover these truths as well. And stay with us, because we'll continue diving into topics capable of radically changing your view of surrounding reality. Remember one fundamental thing. Those who achieve success aren't fortune's favorites or possessors of supernatural talents. Their advantage lies only in understanding nuances unavailable to most. Where others wander in darkness and reflexively react to stimuli, winners see a clear picture and act calculatingly. And from this moment, you rightfully stand in one rank with them. Stop being a hostage of your own emotions and take full responsibility for every decision made, transforming from a passive observer into the architect of your fate. Stop hoping for a fortunate set of circumstances or waiting for someone's permission. Start forming circumstances for yourself and confidently taking what belongs to you by right. Reality rarely rewards simply good people. Laurels go to the strongest, most perceptive, and strategically thinking. Therefore, your task is to become precisely such a person. Until our next meeting in future reviews, and to consolidate results, leave the final affirming phrase below. I am a strategist.